What's up, freaks? This is Steve Says, episode number 49. What's going on? Steve Says, episode number 49. As you know, some people will hate, but most people can relate. We are bringing the freaking fire every second of every second on Steve Says. Today we're going to go over 5 steps, probably a shitload more than 5 steps to learn to love being a freaking loser and how to dominate your weaknesses and also dominate your freaking enemies, because this is how we roll. You know, the invasion's coming and we must defeat the freaking enemy. Facebook Live, Steve Says, episode number 49, every Tuesday, 2:15. Today, are you a loser? Do you seem to not be able to get out of your own freaking way on a regular basis? And you need to learn how to make your weakness turn your weaknesses into your strengths. Steve Says is a live Facebook weekly broadcast on how to have a no excuses, positive mindset to guide you and help you to adapt and overcome through any roadblocks and obstacles that are preventing you from your success in business, at work, at gym, and even at home, so that you can start living life on your freaking terms the way you've always wanted to, leading towards true success and real happiness. This is all about adapting and overcoming, becoming a better version of yourself every day, getting your shit together, stop being a little bitch, trusting the process, and of course, making no excuses. I'm going to get a sip of my Herbalife and we're going to get freaking rocking. All right, so if you have any questions, comments, you can put them in there. I have you down here on a second screen. We could check it out. We could talk. We could chat about what's going on. So we've talked today. What we're going to go over, we've talked about before. In a way, you know, all the episodes have to do with what I just mentioned. So this is, in a way, adapting and overcoming at its finest. We're going to kind of dig deep into that a little bit. We talked about this before, as in a failure and learning from your failure, but we're going to go take it from a little bit of a different angle today, because failure only exists if you let it exist. Failure is only a thought, a concept in your freaking head. It's only if you quit, if you gave up, if you no longer have your goals, you gave up on your goals, you gave up on your dreams and your freaking vision, then you're a fucking failure. If you quit and gave up. If you didn't, it's not a failure. Failure is just a frame of mind. So we're not even going to talk about failure. We've talked about failure before and turning failures into success. But as we evolve and our minds evolve, we start thinking about it, that there is no failure unless you let yourself become a failure and you create failure in your own mind. So today we're going to talk about something different. We're going to talk about not failures, but freaking mistakes. Mistakes. It's all about mistakes today. A mistake, according to the dictionary, a mistake is an action or judgment that's misguided or wrong. And you know, we're going to get to the peak freak definition, because our definition is more important than the book. Because you know, sometimes book smarts doesn't mean shit. So it's an action or a judgment that's misguided or wrong, or an error, or a misunderstanding, maybe confusion, inaccuracy, oversight, or miscalculation. Out of those official definitions, I like miscalculation the best, because miscalculation is not really saying whether it's right or wrong, whether it's good or bad, but the actual definition of saying an action or a judgment that's misguided or wrong. Misguided maybe, but wrong not necessarily. Because when it comes to mistakes, I'm sure you've made a mistake sometimes. You're driving somewhere, you make a mistake, you make a wrong turn, and it ends up being a shortcut to where you're going. So it's a mistake that worked out for you in the long run, right? So mistake, to me, the peak freak definition of a mistake, simply put in the peak freak, most bare bones terms, is you fucked up. A mistake is you fucked up. You simply fucked up. But a mistake can be good or bad. You can fuck up in a good way, like I just mentioned when you're driving. And I'm sure you could think of some examples where you made a mistake and it turned out in your favor. I'm sure tons of times. You made a mistake of showing up to a peak physique class and you're like, fuck, why did I ever do this? And next thing you knew, you lost 50 or 60 fucking pounds in a few months. So there's a mistake that worked out for you, right? So a mistake could be like a lot of the things we talk about. The definitions of them generally are perceived as either good or bad, positive or negative. But our peak freak thoughts and mentalities is all about your own peak freak perception of it. Is a mistake good or bad? Is it positive or negative? So they could fall on both sides of the line here. And we've seen that example with so many different types of things that we talk about. So mistakes are your real world in the trenches freaking college education. You can learn more off your mistakes than you will off of that degree that you're still paying off like 30 fucking years later off those student loans you got. You can learn more off your mistakes. That's going to benefit you more, get you more success, closer to your goals and your dreams and your passion and your vision. More off your mistakes, more off of strictly just fucking up. You can gain more knowledge and wisdom and success off of that than you can probably your even college education. Because that's real world experience, real world knowledge, real world of what's freaking working. So the other rest of the peak freak definition of a mistake, the way that a mistake is to me is opportunities or an improvement to learn or grow or evolve. Mistakes might even uncover, alternate solutions to a problem you didn't even know existed. But you make the mistake, you fuck up, and it opens up a whole nother path. Or maybe just the mistake sparks a new thought, a new way to solve the problem you never knew existed. There's gonna be multiple paths to your goals, multiple paths to solve your problems. And that mistake might even uncover one of those and open up a different path for you. Making mistakes, when it comes down to it, in a peak freak world, mistakes are a fucking, it's a ruthless skill. It's a skill. Making mistakes is a skill. You can become skilled at making mistakes. I am an expert mistake maker or an expert fuck up, if that's what you want to call it. But you have to use that, take that weakness, turn it into a strength. That's why it's only failure if you tell yourself in your head that this mistake, because of this mistake, I am a failure. Then you are a fucking failure. You quit, you gave up, and you're going to give up on your dreams and your goals, and you'll get no results and no success or whatever the hell it is you're after in work or your business or the gym, home, whatever we're talking about, in your sport, whatever the hell we're talking about. So just think of a mistake like the autocorrect on your little fruit phone there. Think of a mistake as the autocorrect on there. When you're texting or you're freaking doing your little stupid ass tweetering shit or whatever the fuck you're doing with your face buried in that phone all freaking day long, you spell something wrong, right? And it underlines the word or it has like that squiggly red line under your word because you made a mistake. You fucked up in the spelling of that word. So you go and you correct it and you switch it to what you wanted it to be. You make the mistake again and your fruit phone is so freaking smart. It thinks it's smarter than you. So it starts auto-correcting and telling you what you meant to say. Half the time that shit is fucking wrong. It doesn't even tell you what you meant to say, but it's auto-correcting. You're just getting on the path of what we're talking about, getting your mind to think about what we're talking about. So you make the mistake a few times. It tells you fucked up. You correct it, and eventually it's going to auto-correct. You make the mistake again, it's going to recognize it, and it even starts to pick up on your fucked up-inness and your habits of fucking up, that it auto-corrects you, or it thinks it auto-corrects you because that shit is still just a freaking phone. It's still just a phone with a little fruit on the back that doesn't make it God, even though you think it is. So eventually, you learn how to spell. You learn how to spell the word fuck. Finally, it stops auto-correcting you to say duck. So for my official stance on that is I've never intended to text someone or tweet or someone that you are a ducking idiot. It's always supposed to be fucking idiot. But the phone always thinks I want to say duck instead of fuck. Who's going to say duck? You are a ducking idiot? Makes no sense. But that phone, my phone, auto corrects and it knows what I'm looking for now. It doesn't say duck anymore. It goes straight to fuck. It learns your habits. It learns your tendencies and that shit will auto correct. That's the way that you need to think about the mistakes you make in your life. The same way. Let's talk a little bit about a little further back generations. The real world generations. The harder working generations. Do they even sell whiteout anymore? You remember whiteout? You put on the paper, the whiteout. Do they sell whiteout anymore? I don't even know if they sell that. They even make that shit anymore because they don't even have it. I don't know if anyone even writes on freaking paper anymore. I still do. I keep notebooks all over the freaking place. I write down shit all the freaking time. But whiteout, right? Probably some of these shit that these dumbass kids are sniffing nowadays and frying their freaking brains. But that's besides the point. So whiteout. It used to be you spell the word wrong on your paper with your pen or your pencil, whatever, but use your pen because you needed the whiteout. You made a mistake and you whited that shit out. It was covered completely. It was removed, deleted, freaking permanently. And you were forced now to go and learn the correct way to spell that damn word. And now you became an improved version of yourself because you whited some shit out. You learned how to spell the word one word at a time. You're a new and improved version of yourself, right? As long as you weren't one of those dumbasses sniffing that shit. Because who knows nowadays what them dumbass kids do. And then you didn't learn anything. But that's what we're talking about making a mistake, correcting it, learning from the mistake, and auto-correcting it, and then making it automatic in the future where you don't even have to think about it anymore. Like, just like your phone is now automatically, it knows I'm not saying duck. I want to say fuck. Put the F in there. There's no D. No freaking D. Put the F. That's what I'm looking for. And it will auto-correct it, and automatically, as you start making them similar mistakes over and over, and you keep course correcting until you're on the direct automatic path towards your goals, your dreams, your past, and your vision. Think of a heat-seeking missile that we're sending out towards our fucking enemies, and we got lots of them, so we need lots of freaking missiles, right? So probably that missile is making from what time it leaves where the hell it's coming from, the fighter jet or whatever, from the aircraft carrier. That shit is literally making millions and millions of mistakes on the way. But you know what it's going to do? It's going to hit a fucking bullseye on that target and destroy whatever's in its path. But along the way, depending on wind and calculations and things that were miscalculated when it was sent off, it's going to make tons and tons of auto corrections, and it's going to course correct and get back on target. And that's the same way you need to think about your mistakes. You're going to make a shitload of freaking mistakes along the way to get to where you need to be, to get to your success, to get to your freaking goals and your dreams. You're going to make a shitload of freaking mistakes. You need to constantly course correct. Okay, bam, I hit a freaking tree. Bam, I hit a tree, and boom, now I'm centered and focused on my freaking goals. We were at the park the other day. Picture Tyson tries to run up the slide, right? Because I guess in Russia, they don't slide down slides, they run up the slide. So that's all he does. He sees a slide. I don't know if the kid's ever went down a fucking slide in his life. He sees it and automatically starts to try to run up it. He had these old worn down sneakers because he just wore the shit out of them. He's got like a million pairs of sneakers because you know it's got to be two different colors. But anyway, so he goes running up this slide. It's like one of these plastic, like slippery as shit slides. So he runs, takes 2 steps, boom, falls right in his face. Doesn't make it 2 steps up the slide. Backs up a little bit, figures, all right, maybe I need a little more speed. Runs up, but makes about 3 steps, bam, smashes his face on the slide. Says, okay, I got the speed now, but all I did is hit the freak of my face harder. I made it an extra step. So maybe I need to grab my left hand a little higher this time. So back up, get that extra speed, run, grab a little left higher, and bam, he made it up 4 steps. 4 steps, smashed his face, slid down the slide, still didn't make it to the top. This is a true story. This just happened the other day. So then he's like, all right, I got the distance. I know where my left hand needs to be. Now now my right hand was probably just a little too high this time. My left hand, it needs to be a little lower than the right so I can counterbalance and pull and then walk my hands up. So he gets running start, gets up the slide, bam, bam, gets up 5, 6 steps up the slide, boom, smashes his face, slides down the slide. Wish I recorded this shit. This is some good stuff. Hold that thought. Herbalife. Keep you rolling. So now he's constantly adding to, taking the mistake, figuring out what went wrong with it. You're not going to start focusing on the mistakes. You're going to focus on what parts were wrong, eliminate the mistakes, and improve that mistake. He backs up. He runs, he gets the speed, left hand high, right hand low, which makes his right hand then go high, left hand low, and he's up there with a little bit of a struggle, grinding it out, bam, grinding it out, makes it to the top. He's up there cheering. I finally made it up this slide. He runs down the slide, doesn't slide down the slide, comes down the steps, and guess what? Then runs up with ease like 50 fucking times in a row. Eventually to the point where he only used one hand, and another time I think used just his freaking teeth. Made it up like literally 50 times in a row after that. It was like literally mistake. Okay, course correct this part. Oh, now another mistake. Course correct. And then bam, it's automatic. And he'll never not make it up that slide ever again, probably in his life. And that's exactly how you have to think about your mistakes. Course correct. Find the pieces of what you're doing that's working right and that are positive and getting you closer to your goals. The shit that's not getting you there, push them behind you. Leave that shit behind you. Delete it from your freaking memory. Get rid of it. You need to store data in your freaking brain and in your body and in your muscles on what parts of it were successful, what parts were failure. And then guess what? You're going to eliminate the mistakes and you're going to keep focusing and building on the successes. Before you know it, it'll be automatic. You'll make up that slide 50 fucking times in a row without any mistakes. You've eliminated them. You learned from the mistakes and you course corrected it and you made it up there. So you need to learn mistakes. Learning from your mistakes or just mistakes in general are going to learn what works and what doesn't work. to make whatever works become eventually automatic and disregard what doesn't work. Delete it from your fucking memory, move on, and keep going, continuing on that straight path towards your goals till you make that next mistake. You're going to course correct, get back on that straight fucking path towards success and domination and eliminating the fucking enemy. Mistakes are going to force you to take ownership of your actions and accept responsibility for the shit you do. Because once you make a mistake, you need to resolve that now. You need to course correct. You're going to get rid of it. You're going to eliminate it. But you need to now, you could say course correct. You need to, depending on what it is, the mistake you made or whatever the fuck you did, you need to course correct, or you need to resolve that problem. You need to make it right because you fucked something up. Which is a mistake is just a fuck up. It's simply just a fuck up. It's going to force you to take ownership of your actions and accept your responsibility. It's also going to make you learn a lot about yourself. When you make mistakes, you're going to learn, how did I handle that mistake? What could I have done better? Start thinking about in your head right now. Think about some fucked up things you fucked up in your life. Not failures, but just think about how some things you overcome. Some things, how you adapted and overcome. See, that's all mistakes are. That's all fucking up is. That's all we're talking about is adapting and overcoming. That's really what it breaks down to. So think about it. Think of some fuck ups you had in your life that you've overcome and you figured it out in the future. And sometimes it might be right away. Sometimes it might be down the line. How did you handle it? And how could you have handled it better? What could you have done better in that situation? And what will you never do again to avoid that situation and avoid that mistake in the future? What part of it did you delete and eliminate from the process? And what will you instinctively and automatically do differently the next time that you come across a similar situation? This is all the stuff. Start thinking about some situations in your head, about mistakes you've made, fuck ups that you've had before. Mistakes seem to help you learn what's really important to yourself and what really matters in your life. That's what it's some deep shit when you really start thinking about it. Mistakes are like what I said in the beginning, are more valuable, and you can gain more knowledge and more success and whatever it is you're looking for than you can in a freaking college education. That's going to cost you a lot less in money. So mistakes are going to help you learn what's important to yourself and what really freaking matters. Mistakes are going to make you face your fears and even live your life without fear. It's going to make you face your fear because you might fuck up. Maybe you went through that wrong door. Maybe you made the wrong turn when you're driving somewhere. You're not exactly where you want to be. It's going to make you face your fears and show yourself that you can come out of this, that you can adapt and overcome. You can course correct. You ate the wrong food this weekend. It's a fucking mistake. You're going to course correct. You're going to realize what made me do that. I'm going to avoid that situation. Oh, it's those annoying fucking friends of mine that shoved that food and that drink, got me fucking trashed and made me eat all that bullshit. Although that's a fucking excuse. You didn't have to do that. But you know that that's what triggered it. That's what set it off. So you're going to avoid that shit in the future. You're going to avoid that part that set you down the mistake. You're going to course correct and you're going to avoid those freaking losers in the future, right? That's exactly what you got to do. It's going to make you face your fears. It's going to even make you live life without any fear. Because it's going to help you be more decisive, knowing that you are not afraid to make mistakes, knowing that already know what you might be fearful of, knowing that you're not afraid to make mistakes. You're not afraid to fuck up because you can come out of it. You can fucking come on top of that shit and you can overcome that shit no matter what happens. That's a fucking mindset you need to have. So it's going to help you be more decisive because you don't fear the evil fucking failure because you're not going to fail. You don't even fear the mistake because you aren't worried about what might happen, what could happen, what coulda, woulda, shoulda, bunch of bullshit happen. You're not worried about that. So it's going to let you live your life without so much fear and let you just trust your gut instinct. And even if your gut instinct ends up being wrong, which most of the time it's not, but even if your gut instinct ends up being wrong, you can still live without the fear of that, what if my gut is wrong? Who cares? It doesn't matter because you're confident that you're going to be able to recognize that mistake. You're going to be able to recognize a mistake, just like falling flat in your face on that fucking slide or that missile going to explode on the freaking enemy. You're going to recognize that mistake immediately and you're going to course correct. You're going to get back on the right path, the correct path, the freaking moral path in line with your goals and your vision and your freaking dream. Mistakes actually defeats the fear of the unknown. It defeats worry and hesitation. You don't have to hesitate. You can just make a decision because even if it's the wrong decision, you're confident that you're going to recognize it and move on and bam, get back on track and make shit fucking happen and succeed and be successful as shit and reach your goals. And then once you reach your goals, you're going to set some new freaking goals and not have to have fear. Never have to get complacent. Never have to say, I'm just settling for this and that. You're going to keep reaching further and further and further without the fear of failure or the fear of mistakes, because you know how to come up out of it, because you have the proper freaking mindset for it. Mistakes don't mean failure. Mistakes do not mean freaking failure unless you let them mean failure. Just how we started off. Mistakes are fucking freedom. Mistakes are gold. Mistakes are freaking knowledge. That's what they are. So as long as you're not using the mistakes to make them as excuses to give up and quit on yourself, mistakes are going to give you freedom. They're going to send you and catapult you with the knowledge and the freedom towards your freaking goals and towards your dreams and towards the ultimate success, whatever it is you're looking for. The dream job, your career, the sports that you're after, in school, in family, in your own business, in whatever the hell it is, in the gym, with weight loss, with your goals, your fitness goals. Mistakes are freaking gold. It's a skill. And it's a skill to know how to adapt and overcome out of your mistakes and fucking soar above them and come out of them without living in fear. Living with freedom is what making mistakes are. If you have any questions or comments, throw them down there in the bottom. I will respond to every single one individually. I will personally respond to every one of them. Mistakes are fucking freedom. Now go out there and fuck up a little bit so you can soar with the freaking eagles. No excuses.